Hello and welcome. As always, this is Grandmaster Jason Purcell, the founder and co-owner of Family Black Belt Academy. And this is our Purple Star video. We also call it our popcorn bucket video because we want you all coming together, relaxing, having a snack while your family watches this video together. Now, the purpose of this video is to talk about what specifically our Black Belt program and our life skills leadership curriculum is. In other words, you start with a white uniform in our basic classes. Well, what happens if or when you earn your blue uniform? Well, then you move up to the level 1 and level 2 classes. We want to talk about what some of the things you're going to be doing in those classes because there are some really cool things and really fun things you're going to be getting to. So we want to show you that. But before we do that, I want to talk about Black Belt focus. You see, students who earn their blue uniforms get to start learning how to use various martial arts weapons. But what would happen if I gave you a pair of nunchucks and you didn't have Black Belt focus? You'd probably hit yourself in the head or something along those lines, right? So that's also why we start with practice weapons. In this case, we'd use foam nunchucks. But the point here is you still need to have Black Belt focus. And that's one of the requirements of earning your blue uniform is showing that, proving that, showing us that you're using that in our martial arts school, you're using Black Belt focus at home, you're using Black Belt focus at school and everywhere else.
Now, the best way to show Black Belt focus is at home, earning check marks from your parents. You can also show us Black Belt focus in class by listening to instructors and trying your best. If you're learning a new kick and fall down, we want to make sure you stand back up and try it again. If your instructors are talking, we want to make sure you're sitting still and listening the best that you can. You can keep earning these check marks at home and making sure you're getting more stripes on those belts. This will help you out at school, in class, at home, and everywhere else that you go.
Now, I'm also going to have you do a very easy quiz that I'm going to have you fill out and turn in after you've watched this video. When you turn in that sheet, parents are going to sign off on it. That's how you're going to earn the next star on your lapel. So this is the Purple Star video. You just earned your purple star on the lapel. When you turn the sheet in, that's how you earn the next star, which is the brown star. Okay? Now, this quiz is very easy. What you're gonna do first is make sure to grab that quiz, okay? In the popcorn bucket video, we have a sheet. That sheet has a QR code. That sheet also has our quiz on it. So if you don't have that sheet, grab that sheet. You're also gonna need a pen or a pencil. So if you don't have those things, pause the video, grab those things, and come back and start it again. Ready? Pause the video, grab those things. Okay, if you have those things, then we're gonna keep going. So the first question, question number 1, what is that martial arts weapon? What we're gonna be doing is showing you all the martial arts weapons you can learn if you move into our Black Belt Leadership Program. So the first martial arts weapon is gonna be the nunchucks. We already talked about that a little bit, but let's show you what you can do with the nunchucks. Now, on the quiz, question number 1, what is that martial arts weapon? Was it A, the bow staff? Is it B, the katana? Is it C, single stick? Or is it D, the nunchucks? It's the nunchucks, right? Okay, so on that sheet, question number 1, circle D, circle nunchucks. Get that, and then we'll keep going throughout the rest of this quiz.
Before we get to that next question, we want to show you some of our intermediate and advanced techniques we learn once we go into our Black Belt program and earn our blue uniform. When you move into our Black Belt program, you get to learn things like forms, releases, takedowns and throws, sparring principles, counter striking, striking itself, intermediate to advanced kicks, and we want to show you some of these things. Now for our next weapon. This is the bow staff. Remember, on our quiz, we have a few options to choose from. Option A, bow staff. Option B, kamas. Option C, tampas. Option D, katana. And it, of course, is option A, the bow staff.
Students who earn their blue uniform also start learning things called releases. This is how to escape if someone grabs onto you. For instance, someone might try to grab hold of your wrist. Someone might try to put you in a choke. Someone even might sneak up behind you, put you in a bear hug. I love releases.
Now for our next weapon, the single stick. Now for question 3, we have a few options for our weapons. A, the katana. B, the double sticks. C, the lightsaber. Or D, the single stick. And it was D, the single stick. So one part of our advanced curriculum is traditional forms. We do these forms for a variety of reasons, including strengthening our stances, our kicks, our punches, developing breathing patterns, and flowing combinations so we're more comfortable with our body. These are really, really fun to do with our classmates and bring in a large cultural element of our martial arts training that we share with other countries around the world.
So we also teach commas.
We also teach the comma, the Oxford comma. But these are a lot cooler to learn.
So question number 4, is it A, double stick,
Comma, or,
B, double nunchucks,
comma, or,
C, commas,
comma, or,
D, tonfa?
there's the commas. C. Students who are in their blue uniforms get to start learning throws and takedowns. Now, a takedown is literally that. It's how you take somebody down to the ground. So I'm gonna have instructor Casey demonstrate this with instructor Jesse. That was a good takedown. Now, you also get to learn throws. A throw is where you literally lift somebody off the ground. So let me have instructor Casey show that on instructor Jesse here. Now, with this, she's gonna go ahead and do the grab, pick him up, and you can see she can completely lift him off the ground, and it doesn't matter if he's 2 or 3 times stronger. And now she can finish the throw. I remember a martial arts master I worked with told me it's not about the martial arts style. There's hundreds and hundreds of styles of martial arts. There's only one physics. Now, if you have the size and strength, it definitely helps. So for example, if I do this same throw on instructor Casey, we're gonna see how far I can throw her, okay? So, where'd you go? Students also learn how to defend from the throw or the takedown and all that. So if instructor Casey was trying to do that throw or takedown with instructor Jesse, and he doesn't want to get taken down, you're gonna learn how to defend so you don't get thrown. We want to teach all of these principles, the defense, the offense, and all the above.
Now for our next weapon. These are the tonfa. Now look at your quiz again. We have a few options to choose from. A, double nunchucks. B, tonfa. C, katana. D, Chinese fighting fan. And of course, the answer is B, the tonfa.
Students with their blue uniforms also get to start learning ground self-defense. So for example, if we have innocent instructor Jesse just minding his own business, and then a bully comes up, instructor Nick gets him, does the takedown, gets here. Now, from here, this is a dangerous position. So for instructor Jesse, how do you learn to escape? How do you learn to get out of this? And then get to your feet to be able to get away, run away, do whatever you need to do. Another aspect of ground defense is learning how to pin somebody to the ground. So not just learning how to get out from underneath, but how to get on top. So for example, what if we had the bully who is doing a lot of punches, they're trying to hurt the person, and the other student now does the takedown, they get them to the ground, and they control them on the ground. And now from here, the bully is gonna have a hard time kicking or punch. They're not gonna do much. And now, instructor Jesse could ask for help.
Call a teacher for me.
So I could try to go get the teacher, get a parent. If this is an adult, they can ask somebody, hey, call the police. So how do we get out from the bottom? How do we secure from the top and keep them pinned if that's something we want to do for self-defense?
These are the sai.
But I can also teach you how to do the sai.
What weapon is this? Is it A, the sai? B, Chinese fan, C, nunchucks, or D, katana?
It's the sai. So A. Students also get to start learning sparring principles. Now, don't worry, this doesn't mean your kid's gonna get hit in the head. That's not what we're doing here. Safety is of the utmost concern for us. But We do different games and exercises, for example, like flag sparring, where students have flags on their belts and they've got a partner and they're trying to grab their partner's flags, their partner's trying to grab their flags. And so you can do these safe open hand blocks that are fun, where you practice your timing. If your timing is off, you're gonna struggle with this, and you learn how to have better timing. With blocking, timing is extremely important. If it's too fast, too slow, you're gonna struggle with having a successful block. Other times we're gonna practice with our foam noodles. We're gonna be swinging at the students and they've got to, again, practice the timing of their blocks. And if they're off, they're gonna get bopped on the top of the head. They're gonna laugh and giggle. It doesn't hurt, it's a foam noodle. And then we practice that block again, get that timing down, get that proper block. As they get more advanced, they start doing non-contact sparring. And we have more and more drills and exercises for sparring principles that are a great way to teach our students practical self-defense.
The next weapon will be the double stick. Was that weapon A, commas, B, sai, C, double stick, or D, bow staff? Yep, that was C, double stick. Circle C for double stick.
As you can see, students who are in their blue uniforms learn a lot more of the physical components and physical techniques. But students also learn a lot more of the mental traits as well. One of the ways that we do this is through our daily mat chats. Every class, we always have 2 mat chats. Now, these mat chats, one is focused on safety, the other mat chat is focused on life skills. So every module, every 2 months, we're gonna focus on 2 different traits. So for example, for the safety mat chat, one module, we're gonna focus on bullying prevention. What is bullying? How can you work towards avoiding it? If you are being bullied, what are some solutions for this? Another module, we're gonna focus on situational awareness. Other modules will focus on cyberbullying. This is something that parents, we never had to worry about as kids, and now this is a really big deal. Another mat chat, we focus on street safety. So we talk about what do you do if you get lost or separated from your parents. We talk about how you start listening to your gut, how you start listening to your instincts. Another module, we'll get back to bullying prevention, but this time we'll talk about, well, what if you see your friend being bullied? Or what if your friend is being a bully? What could you do in this situation? So with all of these things, we're gonna talk about these scenarios, we're gonna talk about various solutions, and then we're gonna practice, we're gonna role play it. And that's how we get our students to start learning these things. The other mat chat is our life skills. So with our life skills, one module we focus on respect. What is respect? Why is respect so important? If you want respect, you need to be able to give respect. How can we show respect at school, at home, in our martial arts school? Another module, we're gonna focus on improving listening skills. Listening is absolutely a skill. How can we work on getting it better? Another module, we're gonna talk about chores. Parents, did you hear that? I said we're gonna talk about chores, okay? But chores are important. They are not fun, but they're important. Kids, as we get older, we're eventually gonna move out. We're gonna get our own place. Mom and dad won't be there. If you don't do your chores, what happens? There's some pretty negative things that happens if you don't do this. So these things aren't fun, but they're important. And if we can learn how to do them and how to do them quickly, it's gonna open up more free time for us. So with these life skills, these are all things that if we don't learn them, they can be potentially detrimental to us. But if we do learn them, they're gonna help us. They're gonna help us succeed. They're gonna help us have more fun later in life.
Now, for our next weapon, the katana. Most people call this a samurai sword, but through our training, we want to make sure we're calling it by the proper name, the katana. So look at your quiz for me now, everyone. We have a few options to choose from once again. A, the katana. B, the bow staff. C, commas, or D, tanto. And of course, everyone, it's A, the katana. Parents, this is really important to understand. We have 3 aspects of self-defense. First aspect is going to be our physical self-defense, actually using our body to block punches, block kicks, things like that. The next one is going to be our bully prevention. Bullying is usually defined as an imbalance of power between 2 people, where the person with more power is repeatedly harming the other individual physically and mentally. This usually happens repeatedly. The last one's going to be basic conflict resolution. In this situation, both people are on equal grounds and are just having a conflict between themselves.
Again, the point here is that these three principles, physical self-defense, bullying prevention, conflict resolution, they're all very different, they're all very complex. There's a reason it takes us 4.5 to 5 years for students to get their black belt, because it takes them a while to start getting into this. Now, the other thing too is what we do is we talk about these situations with the students. We role play these situations so that students get a little more aware of it, so that if it happens in real life, they're much better prepared. But we want our students learning and understanding these three components to our self-defense.
For this next weapon, it's going to be the Chinese fighting fan.
I'm a really big fan of this one.
So is this weapon A, the katana, B, nunchucks, C, the tonfa, or D, the Chinese fighting fan?
There's D, the Chinese fighting fan. Now, the coolest thing about this martial arts weapon is if you get attacked by a ninja and you take them out with a fan afterwards.
When students move into our black belt program, they get to stick around a little bit longer and learn some of the weapons that we're showing off in this video. Every month or every 2 months, we're gonna be learning something new in those classes. We always want students to come into class asking, what are we learning next? What's the next thing? Now, what was the name of this weapon? Was it A, the katana, B, the sword and shield, C, the kamas, D, the nunchucks? And of course, it's the sword and shield.
So students can learn all of our different martial arts weapons, but they don't have to if they'd rather not. If you just want to stick to the regular 45-minute classes, you can do that. That's going to take you all the way to your black belt and beyond. But we also have our leadership life skills curriculum. This program is absolutely phenomenal. And it's very easy. All students have to do is once a week, stick around after one of their classes, and we're gonna get into this curriculum. Now, I wanna talk about what we learn in those life skills classes, but before we do that, I've got one more martial arts weapon to show you. And for this weapon, we have to nerd out just a little bit. The lightsaber. Now, was this weapon the frying pan? Or was it an umbrella? Or was it a water balloon? Or was it the lightsaber? The answer is, it was the lightsaber. Now, this curriculum took me over 4 years to write up and to create. And I thought back to when I was in high school or when I was in college. What are things I wish I knew back then? What are things to this day that I might still struggle with that I need to work on? I talked to a number of our experts, our therapists and family therapists, and asked them, when you have a client, what are some things you recognize that would have been really helpful for them to have learned when they were 15 years old or 10 or so forth? And then we put these things together and we recognize, a lot of these skills are skills you don't necessarily learn from school. So how do we teach these life skills, and how do we make it fun and exciting to where a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old can learn these things? And that's exactly what we did, and we found a really fun and exciting way to do that. So what principles do we learn in our life skills curriculum? Well, one of the topics we get into is time management skills. Parents, I want you thinking about this. I think we all know somebody who's terrible at time management. We know somebody in our life who's had a hard time holding it on a job. Maybe they've been fired because they can't show up on time, or it's hurt their relationships because they're not reliable. Time management is really, really important to learn, and you don't necessarily learn this in school. In fact, a lot of times you'll learn the opposite. I did not learn time management. I got really good. I mastered the art of procrastination in school. In fact, I got a book about procrastination. I didn't read it. I kept putting it off. But someday I'll read it. Time management is so important. And parents, I want you literally asking, what activity teaches your kids time management skills? This is something that separates us from any other program out there. This is such an important and invaluable skill. And we have different ways to talk about this, tell stories. We have games and activities. We have building projects. We have art projects. We have a lot of different ways to show this and make sure that students are actually learning time management skills. Another life skill we teach is grit. Parents, I think grit is one of the most important things you can teach your kids, period. So with grit, we first talked to the students and told them a story about somebody who had a lot of grit. So we talked about Walt Disney, we talked about Susan B. Anthony, we talked about Nelson Mandela. This guy was in prison for 27 years, eventually got out and became president. So we told the kids these stories, and then again, we had a game, an activity, an exercise, an art project. In this instance, I'm going to talk about, we had a construction project. So we told them the story of Nelson Mandela, and then I had the kids break up, and I had them, gave them these index cards, and I said, I want you to build a castle out of these index cards. You can fold them, but see what you can build. So the kids spent about 5 minutes, and they built these things up, and they were pretty cool. And then we said, okay, everybody time out, pause really quick. I want you to knock over your castles. And some of the kids had a blast with this, right? They just went to town. Other kids were a little bit hesitant, but they all knocked them down. And I said, okay, now, how do you feel? And some of the kids were like, well, you know, I'm a little bit sad because I built something really cool. Okay, that's fine. Now I want you to rebuild. I want you to build something even bigger, better, and cooler. I gave them more index cards and I gave them a little extra time. And now, since they had practiced, they all built something twice the size of what they had originally built. They came up some really incredible things. And then I said, okay, everybody stop, have a seat. Okay, let's talk about this. So you got knocked down, your castle got knocked down, and you rebuilt and you built something even bigger and better and cooler. And that is grit. We get knocked down, we have to get back up. We get knocked down, we have to rebuild. We just talked about Nelson Mandela. Did he ever get knocked down? Yeah, he got knocked down every single day when he was in prison, and he got back up, and he got knocked down, and he got back up, and he kept doing that until he got out of prison. He became the president of his country, and he helped change the world. That is grit. And this is important to understand. Life is hard sometimes. Life is not always fun. There's going to be times that life is going to knock us down. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. And you all responded by building something up bigger, better, and cool. That's what Nelson Mandela did with grit. He became president. He helped change the world. That's what grit can do. So I want you all to think about that. Sometimes life is going to be hard. Sometimes you might make mistakes. Maybe in school you get a bad grade on a test. That's okay. Have grit, study harder, learn from it. Maybe you get grounded at home and it feels like the end of the world. That can happen. It's not the end of the world. How can we get back up? How can we learn from it and get out from being grounded and then go back with our life? Other times we're going to do things and we might struggle. That's okay. Have grit to learn from it and get better. Grit is so important to have. As you can see, students who move up to the Black Belt program, physically, you learn 10 times the amount of material. I'm literally saying, not just an exaggeration, but you are literally learning 10 times the amount of material. Mentally, we really step that up. Mentally, this is where students really delve into life skills. This is where they're going to get 100 times the amount of material from our basic program. So this is going to go ahead and wrap up our video. Make sure, grab that quiz, parents sign off on that, turn that in. The last thing that I want to say is that I'm sure you've heard it said, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, we are part of that village. Students who decide to move into our Black Belt program and are going to stay with us month in, month out, year after year, all the way to their Black Belt, we are a part of that village for you and for your family. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you on the mats. Take care.